What happened Monday? New Year's Day, right? 2024. How many people wrecked checks this week writing 2023? Or papers or whatever you had to write?
I start doing that next
Oh, you start doing that next week? Okay, you're slow. You get a couple. You got a couple extra days. You got a couple extra days to get ready for it. I've said it before, and I truly do believe this for myself at this point in my life. I don't make New Year's resolutions. To me, New Year's resolutions are just something to be broken on January 2. Don't eat so much food. January 2, you wrecked it, right? Get more exercise. Oh, I did that on January 2nd this year. But I do believe at this time of year that it's important for us to look backwards as we begin to look forward. So I have a question for us today. When you look back over the last 12 months, do you see more darkness or more lightness in your life and in the world today? This is going to be a long sermon if you don't answer my questions. You see light. You see more darkness. The world and our lives, twofold question. I love that, Kate. I knew someone was going to blindside me someplace with a smart comment, a good comment, not a good comment, a thoughtful comment. So Katie says it all depends on if you look at the world, you look at our own lives. That's a fair question. So let's separate those a little bit. In the world, do you see more light or more darkness? Okay. In your life, don't answer this question out loud, because I don't think you can honestly answer it a lot of times out loud, okay? In your own personal life, do you see you're walking closer to light or closer to darkness? Are you seeing yourself walking in and around the light and darknesses of this world? Or you see yourself going forward to the light of this world? And if you've given any thought to this, which some of you are saying, I've never thought of this way, why should I? So right now, as you're thinking about this, and you're looking ahead in 2024, what are some of the things that you have made promises to yourself or challenges to yourself, not a resolution, promise or a challenge, which I think is different, that you want to do to change, to become closer to the light in this coming year? I know somebody who used to go to church here many years ago. I didn't see anything this year, but the last 5 years, I've seen the posts of the challenge that he put out to his Facebook friends to read the Bible through this year. I know he's done it at least 5 or 6 years in a row now. And he just puts it out there for people to challenge. I challenge you to do it with me. Has anyone ever made that challenge to yourself? To read the Bible through the year? Has anyone doing it this year? Awesome. Awesome. So, it's Sandy, right? There's Sandra back there in the back row. I saw your hand go up first. Max, will you help me? Come here. Right now. Take and give this to Sandra. Okay, in the back row. Other side. Thank you. Just something that might help you with your challenge this year of reading the Bible through this year. What else do we do? As you look over the past year and the darkness that you've been in, does anyone here think, I just need to slow down? Life is too busy. Max, help me again. I wanted to get your steps in today. This goes to the gentleman in the back corner back there, Hans. I don't have 25 books up here. So people are going to start raising their hand quick now. This will be an auction pretty quick. I'm good at auctions. We can do that. How many look over this past year and my phone is actually a work phone. It truly is a work phone. It's not my phone. I don't pay for this phone. I don't pay for the service on this phone. It comes from my employer. Every month they send me updates on my phone usage for the last month. How it tracks, I don't want to know. Don't nobody tell me. How it tracks how much time I use for work, how much time I use for emails, how much time I use on social media. How many people look at this past year and say, man, I wish I could cut back my phone usage. I spend too much time on social media. Okay, Max. You don't have to walk very far for this one. You can just give this one to Dwayne. Smart kid. It can be a little bit, but we'll get there again, okay? So you can go back, sit with your family if you want, or you can sit there. 1 John 1:6 says, if we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness, we lie and do not practice truth. If we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in darkness. So Katie, I appreciate you bringing up this separateness of the world and self, because I want to look at self today for the rest of the time today. I'm asking each one of us to self-judge ourselves. As you look back over the past year, how much darkness did we walk in? Some may have been often. Some may say, well, I really did pretty good except for this period of time that I was really suffering or struggling with something, and I kind of walked away from God and I walked in darkness for a while. No one knew it, just God and I know it, and I know it wasn't right. And we're lying to ourselves. Because if we're with God, you cannot walk in darkness, because God's light dispels all darkness around us. And it's something important for us to remember. So we have to do an honest self-assessment sometimes. Sometimes we have to ask ourselves this question: are you all in? Are you all into darkness, or are you all into God? You see, I think if I'm all in with God, I may stumble. It doesn't mean I've walked in darkness. It just means I'm weak and I've fallen and I need to get back to God. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 11 and 12 tell us this: have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of those things which are done by them in secret. Think about who you hang out with, who we associate with. What stories they tell, what things do they do? Oh, we're going to a party. Why don't you come tonight? Oh, I don't drink. Well, that's okay. Just come to the party. Is it really okay just to go to the party? I can't answer these questions for you. I just have questions today. Because I feel in the world that we live in today, we are walking in way too much darkness in our own lives. We're straddling a line. We're playing the game. And we stumble too often and fall. away from the light. I believe there's reasons why we do it and why it happens. What are the works that we have in our lives? What things are keeping us? Han raises, I think it was Hans that raised his hand to be the busyness of life. And by the way, these books I'm giving out today, self-disclaimer, they did not come from an Adventist bookstore. Came from a Christian bookstore. I'm not going to endorse 100% what's in every one of these books, okay? So don't come to me halfway through the year and say, did you know that this book said this and you were given the... Self-disclaimer. So if you don't want it, just give it back to me. I'll find someone else that will. That's okay. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 tells us this. We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in heavenly places. Do you fully acknowledge in your life and accept, knowing in your life, that the things that are going on in this world that are not good are caused by the powers and principalities of darknesses of this world, and they're out to deceive us, God's people? If you don't acknowledge that, friends, you will be deceived. You'll be caught into their works. You will stumble. I love my room at night to be pitch black, 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 black. Got a problem right now. We're sleeping with the window open, so we raise the shade up, and the neighbors' lights, they come in the room. They light the room, actually, and I don't like that, but I've accepted it. But I love pitch black rooms. So that when I wake up in the middle of the night, I stumble to get to where I need to go. The principalities, rulers of this world of darkness, the prince of darkness wants our lives to be that dark. So that we stumble where we're going or where we're trying to go. We stub our toes and we get angry. And ultimately, we blame God for that anger, when it's ourselves that we have allowed to walk in the darknesses of this world. I got two quotes. I don't 100% know where they came from. I just found them. The more a nation gets into darkness, the more it's going to hate the light. The more it's going to run from the light. We have a generation of people who have given themselves to darkness. They have embraced atheism because it gets them away from the moral responsibility of God. Think about it. That's the world we live in today. Where do our morals come from? In this world, where do morals come from? They come from God himself, and they come from his word. This is morals. You don't find these in the world. Yeah, we have laws that say you shouldn't steal from somebody, your neighbor or something like that, or from a store. But look at those laws today. Those laws are being laughed at. As long as you don't steal more than a couple $1,000s, we aren't going to prosecute you. Really? So it's not stealing if I only take up to whatever the amount is in that state that I won't talk about. Really? If I remember in Exodus chapter 20, it says, thou shalt not steal. Morals. People are running away from the gift of God that God has given them in these morals of life. I have no idea what happened up in Perry, Iowa this week. Not a clue. I turned on the news down in Florida, and the first thing that popped up on the news the other morning was the shooting. I don't know why it happened. We got a lot of people that are going to guess why. We're never really going to know. Morals has something to do with it in our society. I will say that. I don't know what caused this young man to do what he did. but I know God wasn't present in it. Another quote. If the times are indeed as bad as we say they are, if darkness in our world is growing heavier by the moment, if we are facing spiritual battles right now in our own homes and churches, ZK, we just took that out of the world and put it to us, right? Then we are foolish not to turn to the one who supplies unlimited grace and power. He is our only source. We are crazy to ignore him. How have we ignored him this last year? Are we going to continue to ignore him this year in those same ways? We are facing spiritual battles. We just read the verse where it talks about that, right? Warring against principalities and darknesses of this world. The war is why? Because he, the darkness, prince of darkness, does not want us to come to the source of the light, who is the ultimate source of salvation, who the ultimate reward is heaven. And he says, if I can succeed in one thing in 2024, is to get one person in that Iowa City church to reject the light of God and come to me. And I won't rest until it happens. So we as a church have to understand that is his purpose and his desire and his whole goal in life is to do that. How do we come together? How do we fight this good fight? How do we make sure the light of the world, Jesus Christ, is shining brighter and dispels all the darkness that is around us? We put things into place. And now I'm going to meddle. If you don't want your toes stepped on, lift your feet up right now, please. Just put them up on the pew behind you, the song rack, whatever it is. I give you permission to do that right now. There's a reason we have Sabbath school at 10:30 on Sabbath morning here at the church, to come together and to worship and to study together, to encourage each other and lift each other up. There's a reason that a group of us come together at 7 o'clock on Wednesday evening for 1 hour in the middle of the week. 1 hour. To encourage each other, to lift each other up, to support each other, to pray together, to study the light together. And we're studying the book of John right now. It's chocked full of light. And we get 3 or 4 people to come out on Wednesday evening to do that. I'm not saying if you don't come to Sabbath school at 10:30, if you don't come to prayer meeting at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night, that you're walking in darkness. But I will say this. I will make this bold prediction. You're playing with a dimmer switch in the world we live in today. We're playing with a dimmer switch. We as a church are going to continue to try to provide opportunities and things that we can do together to walk in the light together, to support each other. All I can do is put an announcement in the bulletin saying we got prayer meeting on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Pray for our church family to please come and present the opportunity. I can't come and make you come. It's an hour prayer meeting. I know 4 of us that drive an hour or more to get here for an hour prayer meeting. It takes time. It takes commitment. Isaiah 9:12 says, "And they will look to the earth, but behold, distress and darkness and gloom of anguish, and they be thrust into thick darkness." Where are our eyes looking at in this world? Where are you looking for hope? Where are you looking for promises? In this world that we live in, I asked somebody before church started for a Sabbath school this morning. I said, out of our church, What percentage of members do you think are struggling with depression, anxiety, stresses in this world, and feel like they're being overcome? I added a little bit to that, I realized, to the question I asked earlier. And now I was told 1 out of 3, so now with that list, maybe 1 out of 1, 1 out of 2. In the world we live in, oftentimes we throw up our hands and say, I can't go on anymore. I can't deal with these things anymore. School is too hard. Family is too tough. Work is too overwhelming. I just want to give up. I don't want to go on anymore. Stresses and darknesses. Who are they the number one gift from? The number one gift of stress and darkness in the world is a gift from? No one wants to say the word. I don't want to say his name. If I say his name, he's going to come here. He can't come here because there's light in here. Satan, right? They're Satan's number one thing that is entrapping us in this world. And one of the reasons we're getting trapped in this world is because we have allowed ourselves to become too busy. I know families with young kids that are not members of our church. They're not even Adventist. But if they don't have their kids in some sporting activity 5 days a week, they don't think they're doing their kids service. But yet they barely make it to church 1 day a month. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with sports. I love sports. But what I'm saying is, we have allowed ourselves in our lives to get so busy with all these things that are out there in the world to distract us from a relationship with Jesus Christ. And if distracting you from a relationship is keeping you from Jesus Christ, it's an idol. And it's not right. I have a feeling that most people would not know how to answer this question in Cedar Rapids. I officiate basketball, middle and high school, and we never have games on Wednesday night. You know why? Supposedly, it's church night. Supposedly. Historically, it was church night. I promise you that 98% or more that partake in sports Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, don't go to church on Wednesday. I'm thankful for it. Works great for me. 4 nights out of the week, you don't get home before 9 o'clock at this time of year. John 11:10, to open their eyes so that they may turn from darkness to light, from the power of Satan to God, that they may receive forgiveness of sins and place among those who are sanctified by faith in him. We need to turn around. We need to flip the switch. We need to accept God's love and grace in our lives. By faith, we need to grasp onto it that he is the true light of this world, and he won't let us walk in darkness as long as we're holding on to him, the true light. The one. Because Ephesians chapter 5 verse 8 tells us, for you were once darkness, but now you are in the light in the Lord. Walk as children in light. But here's the thing about it. It's a choice. What do we choose to do this year? How do we choose to walk this year? We talked about it in Sabbath school today. Started talking about the second coming. We're going to talk about it for several weeks, and they're probably at the rate that we got 2 verses done today. There's more than that in the Bible in Second Coming. I've said it up here myself several times. We need to make our decision today because tomorrow could be too late, because you don't know what's going to happen on your way home today. You could be in a car accident and die, right? We've all heard that line before. That's a stupid line. I know we don't use that word. Got your attention though, Hayden. Not a good word to use, I understand that. But that really is a dumb line to use. See, more of us Christians are going to lose heaven, not because we died in a car accident or heart attack before we had a chance to give our life to God. The more of us Christians are going to lose heaven because we've delayed giving ourselves to Him, and we've allowed our hearts to get so hardened we no longer want to have a relationship with Him. Understand? If I delay today to give myself and to give up this darkness that I've had in my life that I've been cherishing, if I delay giving it to Him, my heart gets used to it and gets hardened to seeing the light or hearing the call of God in my life, and pretty soon I don't even think it's dark over here. I just think it's life. And I fail to see the signs I've been speaking in my life. And pretty soon it's too late, and I'm given to Him. John 8:12, again Jesus spoke to them saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Who are you following? Easy question, I hope. If I can ask it right. If this verse is right, it says, whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but walk in the light of life. What does the walk in darkness lead to? I knew it was an easy question. You guys are really smart. There's a choice, isn't there? It seems to be a pretty obvious choice to me. The question is this: why do we struggle so much to turn off the darkness and turn the light switch on and walk in it? If we know that one is leading me to death and the other leading me to life, why is it hard to make the decision to go into life? Each one of us has to answer that question for ourselves. Each one of us is fighting that battle within our minds, within our bodies, within our souls today. But I'll promise you, the answer is the same for each one of us. We walk in the light of life. It is life. It is eternal life. If we choose to walk in darkness, it's a choice. Do it. God's not going to force you to turn His light on in your life, but it's a choice that you're going to make. What choice are you going to make this year? What choice are you going to make for your life? Corinthians 6:14 tells us, for God, who said, let light shine out of darkness, has shone in the hearts to give the light of knowledge, the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Let His light shine. Let it be present in your life. Let it go and let it be. John 3:19 says, I have come into the world as light, so whoever believes will not remain in darkness. Do you believe? Do you trust? Do you believe? Do you follow? Do you have faith? If you have those things in Jesus Christ, you are not anywhere close. Darkness cannot shine. That doesn't work, does it? Darkness cannot be present in your life. Do I need to repeat that? Make sure I get it right this time. If you trust, believe, follow, and have faith, Darkness cannot be present in your life. Only light can shine in your life. Only light can shine in your life. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to the Father who is in heaven. Our lights are not just to be for ourselves. And when we accept Jesus into our life and we accept his light to push all the darkness out of our life, we are to be a radiant presence of Jesus Christ to all those that are around us. That doesn't mean that I speak constantly about the goodness of Jesus Christ and you must accept him in your life to be saved, and if you don't, you are in darkness. No, it means that I live my life and let his light shine through me and be a witness to those around them. I don't get overwhelmed by the things of this world. Where are you going tonight? Wednesday night, I go to a prayer meeting. Let's go do this on Saturday. I can't. I choose to go to church on Saturday. You notice how I said that? Too many times people say, well, come and do this on Saturday. No, I have to go to church. No, you don't. Nobody has to be here. If you take coming to church here as I have to be here, you're here for the wrong reasons. I'm sorry. I hope that by being here, you'll learn that you want to be here, but it's a choice to be here. Come play golf on Saturday. We're going down Arkansas. We're going to go play for the weekend. No, I can't do that. I choose to be at church on Sabbath. I'll drive down Sunday morning and play with you guys. Sure. But I choose to walk in the light. Understanding? And when I choose to walk in the light, darkness is dispelled. Darkness is what? Scientists, what is darkness? Absence of light. Therefore, if you have light, there can be no darkness. Right? I'm not a scientist, so I'm glad that someone answered that question the right way. Another quote. You can read this. Satan has access to the domain of darkness, but he can only occupy those areas where mankind, through sin, has allowed him. Satan cannot reign in our life if we do not allow him there. And if we allow Christ in our life, we allow Christ's light to be present in our life, his darkness, his presence cannot be here in our life. Now, understand, that doesn't mean I am choosing to walk in the light this year. That's my choice, okay? That's not a resolution. That is a decision that I have made to walk in the light. That doesn't mean I'm not going to stumble this year and fall. All right? I probably have already in the 6th today? In the 6 days since the new year started, I probably already have stumbled and fallen. I probably will stumble and fall again. It doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect, but it means that when I stumble and fall, I'm going to be drawn back to the light and not sucked into the darkness. I'm going to recognize that I have fallen and I want to get back to that light. I want to flip that switch on. I want to turn that dimmer on to bright. I want to be in the fullness of God's grace and beauty and forgiveness again in my life. John 12:35. Then Jesus said, "A little while longer the light is with you. Walk while you have the light, lest darkness overtake you. He who walks in darkness does not know where he is going." Friends, what Jesus is telling us here, we need to hold on to his light. There'll come a period of time where we aren't going to have the opportunity to make the choice to walk in light or walk in darkness. Today is the day to make that decision and that choice. Worship, fellowship. Who struggles with that? Who struggles with worship? How do I worship? What do I worship? Jim, Max. I'm not saying this book has the answers, Jim, all the way in the back corner. I hope it helps you in your search of worship. There are foundations that we have in our life and our understanding of what Jesus wants us to have that are paramount in our relationship and walking in the light. Paramount. Listen carefully to what I say next. There is an F word in the Bible that too many of us Christians struggle with. Faith. Any of you struggle with faith? It's a struggle. In 2023, who here struggled with their faith relationship with God? Max. Miss Holly. We're coming to an end. It's a true struggle. Faith is a huge word that encompasses so much of our relationship with Jesus Christ. I'm going to make it as simple as I can. Faith is as simple as this. One step. Take the step in God. Trust Him. Revelation 21:23 says, the city had no need for sun or the moon to shine in it, for God illuminated it. The Lamb is light. Who made a decision this year to have devotions every day with God? And oh man, it was a big it was a big step out, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. Who seeks to have devotions every day with God? Max, Gary, and Senta. Perfect for them and their family. Raise your hand, Senta. Thank you. Max was wondering. He's walking in faith. We live in a stressful world. Without walking in the light of Jesus Christ, we get lost. Was it this year, Katie, you had your testimony up here? It was this year, right? Or 23? I meant 23. Hope you were here. If you weren't here for it, go back on YouTube and find the message that day. Katie gave a beautiful testimony of her struggle with depression in her life. It's real. Anxiety, it's real. Stress, it's real. It's overcoming, it's encompassing. The Bible is full of blessings, though, for each one of us. Does someone want to admit here today that maybe they struggle with depression or anxiety? If not, I'm going to give this to Katie as a gift for her testimony to our church. Over there, Max. Max can learn who all these people are today. How many steps do you get in? There is no magical formula, friends. God says, walk in the light. I am light. I love this verse in Revelation because that's what heaven is going to be. We are not going to have any need for the sun, the moon, or the stars in heaven. Oh, they're going to be there. But they aren't going to provide the light that we need. The Son of God, the Lamb, Jesus Christ is going to provide the light for us. And he provides the light for us there. He provides the light for you and I right here today. Right here where we are. Who's written all these verses down today that I've used and I didn't say it first, but who's written them down? You already got a book. To my wife. That's Lisa over there. We were sitting in a bookstore on Thursday morning in a store in Winter Garden, Florida. It happened to be the store that we got our inspiration for our prayer room from. We found it again. We didn't know where it was. We had forgotten. We're old. We lose directions. And we ran across it one morning walking around the little town of Winter Garden, Florida. And we walked in. We were in there for a while, and Zach goes, you know, Dad, we've been here quite a while. You really should buy something. I said, don't worry. I'm buying something. That's where these books came from. I think of you while I'm on vacation. See? The light of the world. Are we going to let our light shine? Lisa, my family, I guess, Lene's kind of the same way. I love my lights in my house bright. When I go to the store to buy light bulbs, I buy bright white light bulbs. And it makes it bright in my house. I say, can we turn just a couple of lights on today? I want each one of us to come to the brightest light this world has ever seen or known, and has the privilege to turn on in our lives the light of Jesus Christ. And let our light shine. And not hide it under a bushel. It's page 580. But to let our light shine everywhere we go this year, because Jesus Christ is living within us and through us. Father, as we come into this new year, no resolutions, challenges that are faced in front of us. And the biggest one, Father, I see in the world we live in that's filled with darkness because they do not seek the true light, your Son, Jesus Christ, is our growing relationship with you. My fervent prayer, Father, for our church family is that each and every day we choose to follow the light of your Son in our lives. And he shines through us to everywhere we go, so everyone has the opportunity to see and get a glimpse of your light. We ask things in your name. Amen.